So I'm going to give you a quick introduction. Again, apologies
Okay.
on my side for being just technology challenged as us 60-year-olds can be from time to time. But let me give you a little background on Dave. Thank you all for joining us first. We're going to talk today about handling objections, but you're going to hear about handling objections from the expert. Dave has been in the business for about 42 years now. Every week, I think I add another year to your tenure in the business, Dave. But plenty of experience working with clients on a one-on-one basis. He's also a sales coach, and so worked in the seminar business. He's worked in the radio business, and he's worked in the sales training and coaching business. Besides being a regular top producer with us since he joined our firm 15 years ago, and doing some great things with Social Security claiming. So really proud and pleased to have, I think, one of the best sales technicians in the business and marketing technicians in the business to help our team grow their business. And I love objection handling. I think it's something that there's an artistic and a kind of scientific approach, and I think you blend those really well here. So let's talk a little bit about handling objections.
You bet. Thank you very much, Steve, and thank you everybody for being on the line with us. This truly is about a 10-minute webinar, and then we'll answer a couple questions, and this won't be a long one, and that's the way those kind of short, quick hitter sales ideas are. Excuse me. My name is Dave Pimper. Been in the business for 41 years, and really a great time to be in the guaranteed business. I'll tell you that. With where the caps are and some of the participation rates, things are pretty salty right now with the way the market is, and of just what's going to happen here in the next 12-month or 18-month time period, with interest rates still rising and just a lot of kind of political unrest. So one of the things we're talking about specifically today is handling objections. And I'm a process salesperson. I work a process. It isn't perfect, doesn't work every single time, but I will tell you day in and day out, this is a very, very good way to handle objections. So let's go in, and we're going to, if you have any questions, type them on in. I'll be more than happy to help you with those, all right? So let's go on. The first thing to say is whatever that objection is, it needs to be, you need to be consistent on the track that how you handle that objection. That's very, very important. You want to do the same thing over and over and over. You wouldn't get a person like LeBron James at the foul line, and one time, he shoots it overhead, one time from his chest, one time underhanded. You don't do it like that. It's that consistency that makes somebody good, and that's the way it works with a professional salesperson also. Okay? Now, let's just say it's a fixed index annuity objection, and the person says, hey, this is a common one. There's lots of them. But I'll say at the end of virtually at the end of the entire sales presentation, I will ask, do you have any questions, Mr. Client? And he goes, yeah, Dave, I do. You know what? He said, or do you have any concerns? Yeah, I do. I'm concerned just about, that my money's locked up for 10 years. And that's a legitimate. He looks at it as being locked up. Well, the worst thing you can do is start selling the product. 10 years isn't long. I mean, there's 30-year government bonds. There's 30-year mortgages. I mean, even car loans, high-end car loans have 10 years now on a car loan. No, you don't do that. No. You know what you do? You cushion it. And so you say something like, hey, thanks for sharing that with me. Or maybe that's a great point. Thanks for bringing it up. Or maybe good point. Other clients have brought that up before. So you're agreeing with them. You're not being confrontational. Confrontation may win you the battle, but it loses you the war. You want to make them feel good. The better that the prospect feels about you, or the client better about you, the better chance there is that they're going to go in and make that purchase from you. So just for example, I do my share of public speaking, and I'm in front of a group of 30, 40 advisors, and someone in the audience says, hey, Dave, I got kind of a stupid question to ask. You know what's the worst thing I can say after you hear the question? My gosh, that is a stupid question. I mean, they're not going to like you. They're not going to respect you. Makes no difference of how much you know the subject. What does the normal presenter say? Oh no, ask the question. There's no stupid questions. Lots of people probably wanted to ask this question. They just didn't have the heart to do it. I'm glad you did. Yeah, make them feel good. So cushion the the objection. Thanks for sharing that with me. So that's the first thing. Don't try to sell your way into the sale. Educate and ask questions. So the next thing is narrow down the concern. So I always say I'm curious, and I really like that language. Hey, I'm curious, Frank. What concerns you most about that 10-year surrender charge? And then he's going to come in, and this is truthful. What happened to me? I asked that, and the person says, "Well, my wife and I have been thinking about getting some windows." He was going to put $100,000 in, and he actually had 10% his first year. But I said, he said we were thinking about putting windows in. Now we may not do it. It's been 3 years since we've been thinking about it, but they would probably come from this money. And I said, well, when do you think you're going to do it? Because if I was going to do it quickly, I would hold that money back out and keep it into cash. I would not get it in surrender charges. But he said, well, I don't know. It could be in a year or two. We may not ever do it. And I said, well, here's the great thing. And the fixed index annuities that I use through IAMS has a first year surrender charge available, first year withdrawal available for 10%. So I said, so how much are those windows? He said they're about $9,000. And I said, well, you can get to 10% per year. 10% per year. So 10% of 100,000 is $10,000. And then depending on what kind of growth you have next year, but you could probably take anywhere from $9,000 to maybe 9,400 next year. So, and then what I say is if you took 10% every single year, you could take out, probably 3/4 of your contract within that 10-year time period. Or if it's 7 years, you could take out 45% of your contract out, within that time period. And then what I say is, can you envision yourself taking out that much, 35, 40,000? No, not at all. So I take a smaller number and make it bigger. It's legitimate, and I'm not at all going in and leading them. I'm just saying, would you need that kind of liquidity? And so after that, and again, let me show you something else that you can do. After they say whatever the objection is, hey, I just don't know if I want to lock my money up that long. You can go in and you can isolate that and just say, so that's pretty much your biggest concern. If you're really bold, you could say, so you know what, if you're comfortable with that concern you've got, can you see yourself going to go ahead and start this ball rolling to do the paperwork? I mean, you could. I'm not that bold, but you can isolate it. So that basically is your biggest concern, right? And what you're trying to say is, if I answer that correctly and it makes you feel good about yourself, then we can do business. And I'm a big believer too. See, I answered with the story. I'm a believer. There's no adage in the network marketing business that facts tell and stories sell. You know who's really good with facts? Doctors, engineers, math teachers. You know how good they are at sales? Normally, bad. How many great CPAs do you know that are salespeople? There's a few, but the majority are bean counters. They're very left brain, where an advisor has to be some left brain, but has that emotional right brain also. But stories, facts tell and stories sell. Facts tell, emotion sells. Yeah, so tell a story. Have them. I do a lot of. You can call them analogies. You can call them metaphors. If you're biblical in Jesus' day, you can call them parables. Yeah, that it's relating, kind of an analogy, a story, a parable. That's what you want to do to the client. That's how a client really understands and learns. Stalls are a type. It's a subroot of an objection, but stalls are a little bit different. What's the normal kind of stall? I got to think about it. Normal stall. I got to talk to my wife about it. Those are the normal stalls. I do the very same thing. Hey, no problem. I cushion it. No problem. I understand that. Hey, Frank, let me ask you a question. What what what's your biggest concern? What concerns you the most right now? Or no problem. I'm curious. What concerns you the most right now? If you can get them talking, you got a fair chance, a boxer's chance to go in and to close the sale. If they just say no, we just think about everything before we make it. There are some people like that, but 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 at least try. Tell, the big thing is trying to get them to talk about what their concern is. Once you do that, you do have a fighter's chance to go in and make the sale. Now, what I do, I write out 3 to 5 common objections, and then I role play with myself. And I tell you what, I've done this. I've been in the sales business. I mean, I'm 67, virtually since I've been 16 years old is when I got into formal car sales, auto sales. My grandpa owned a car dealership. My dad owned a car dealership. So for 50 years, I've been selling. In fact, I'm looking up on my wall right now. The very first used car I ever sold was August the 11th of 1972. Jiminy Christmas. $395 on a Simca. And you know what? I honed my selling skills in by seeing where I could put myself at the greatest advantage, not manipulation, but advantage to really explain to that client and let that client understand in a professional way of why maybe they really do need that financial strategy. So I would just basically memorize those 5 common objections. And a lot of people ask, you know, I coach for IAMS. I used to coach independently, but now I'm strictly proprietary with IAMS. I do a lot of marketing. In fact, I've got a movie coming on up that we're showing. That's on it's an actual movie on retirement. I rent out the movie theater. We're starting our marketing today on it. I've got actually a dinner workshop. A lot of people put their nose up on dinner workshops, but it's the 8 potential mistakes retirees make with their money, and it's just good stuff. I got Social Security workshops coming up. I just got done actually 4 months in a row, and so I want to take a break on a month, and now I'm going to do it starting in February. I coach a lot of different people. Social Security is a mainstay for me. Sales process. I sales process coach for 3 sessions for $600 of really going through and just as handling objections. We go much more into depth into role play, but to fine tune your game, try to find a professional athlete that doesn't have a coach. Try to find a professional actor who doesn't have a current coach. Almost all of them do, because they're fine tuning their game, they're honing their game. Iron sharpens iron. But most salespeople, that's why there's a gazillion below average and average salespeople. That's what coaching can do. And hearing it from someone else can give you the insight that maybe that you've been looking for. So truly think about coaching. I tell you what, and Steve will knows this for a fact. With IAMS and with my broker dealer of Calton, the people who are the most successful, I would say almost all of those have some kind of coach that have helped them along the way or coaching them right now. There's an old saying that says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes. No. Procrastinators. If you saw something today that you like, you say, hey, maybe I could get some help from that. Absolutely, you want to mark. Yeah, Steve, can you bring that poll up? There's a poll that we're going to launch, and Steve's going to launch it. And it's just on whether you'd like to have more information on maybe handling objections or coaching in general. And he's going to offer this now. Yeah, so if you mark yes, then Drake will give you a call in the next day or two, hopefully today, and get a good time on his calendar, on mine. But and Steve, we got time for a couple questions. I see we got something popped up here on seminars that came on up. But well, maybe I'll do this. I'll just open up, Steve. Let me throw it over to you because I got to scoot here pretty quick. But let me go over to you and we'll answer a couple questions here.
Perfect. Thanks, Dave. Good stuff as always. I love, like I said, that science and art of some of the practice and sales stuff was really good. And so one of the first questions that came up, and you were talking about the different coachings that you did, and you talked about kind of just sales practice management. And then his question was, what besides objection handling? Because I think, as we all assume, that's a big part of that. But what are the things you cover in your normal sales process coaching besides objection handling?
Oh boy. The sales process in general talks about, one of the things that a lot of people don't do, they don't commit people on in before they bring them further into the sale. So they don't commit them into, are we going to do business together? Are you open to do business with me? Are you married to that product? People don't want to hear no. To them, they want to say no. I don't want to go with you. I want to stay where I'm at. I mean, I would much rather. It's the old adage with marriage: you'd much rather hear on the first date than at the altar. It hurts at
Sure.
the altar,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But if you hear on the first date, it stings. It stings for until you do that right swipe. Is that what they do? I've never been on one of those, but
I
if
don't
you
know
right
either.
swipe, yeah,
Right or
whatever,
left, one or the other.
whatever swipe it is, yeah, then
Yeah.
you go on to the next one. But that isn't the case when you're that close to the deal or that close to marriage. So I'm just saying, commitment lines, the proposal. How do you actually do the proposal? I think that the fact finder that I have, I'm not bragging, but it's old time, and we don't do electronically. We do it by handwritten, but it's very, very good. With Social Security, there's a specific way that I go in and that I fact find. I do it off the 5 pillars of income. I find out what their wages, what their pensions, investable assets like 401ks, IRAs, Roths, simple SEPs, etc. RMDs are traditionals, and then Social Security. There's a real certain way to go on in. And the nice thing too, Steve, some of that, like with seminars in Social Security, which we do a lot of Social Security. We have a fellow that's down in Texas, and actually, excuse me, he's in Arizona, and he just called me back. He said he wanted to do it the first year. I said, "Will you give me a call after the first year, what you did today?" And we're coaching up on Social Security. If you don't know Social Security, you're losing business. I promise you. I promise you that if you compete against Dave Pimper and there's any Social Security questions that come up, I'm going to get the upper hand if you don't know Social Security. And the chance of getting that business is much more in my court than in yours. So I do a lot of Social Security coaching. So there's seminar coaching. There's just a lot of things where, from a marketing standpoint or sales prospects standpoint, that's what I do. That's what I've done my entire life, and really have made my, kind of hung my hat on that.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Hopefully that answers your question, Thomas. If not, shoot me another question back or give us a call, or just mark yes on that poll if you want to. That would be a good, if you want to have a 15, 20-minute conversation with Dave and talk about some things, that'd be a good time to hit yes on that poll. And don't worry about hitting no either. I know that sometimes people hesitate and they're like, oh, I don't want to insult him. It's not insulting. If there's nothing of interest to you, just hit no. But if you want to chat with Dave, whether it's about sales coaching or Social Security, or we do have a question here on seminars, Dave, and kind of what you do for seminars in general. You mentioned the 8 mistakes, but that's not your only seminar.
No. Social Security. I've got a Social Security seminar. We've got an in-service non-hardship withdrawal. That's called the 59.5 rule. We have that as a seminar. We've got a tax seminar. We just have a lot of different things that we do, and we want to put the right seminar in your hands that will bring in the most money. And you know what? No doubt, Steve, you know what that one has been. Social Security.
Absolutely. Social Security, big. Yep.
94% of all adults who can take Social Security that are taking, that are available. Think about that. There's only 6% that haven't had enough, the 40 quarterly hours to get their benefits. So, I'm a big Social Security guy. We have a radio show. It's an hour show called Retirement Boss Radio. And we just don't, that's the one thing that IAMS does. It promotes a lot of marketing. And product is great, but product doesn't sell itself, does it, Steve?
No, that's unfortunate. You need to have people to talk to, and that is an area of expertise for Dave. So you touched on a lot of things there. Social Security seminars, we have fully developed plan for that. So if you want to do those, certainly let us know. We're not real big. The question that arose is your seminars person to person or are they online? And so we've had some success, but the success with the online seminars in general just doesn't compare with the success that you'll have face to face. And that's just, I don't know that anyone would tell you any different than that. That's just kind of a tried and true that we've learned, especially through the pandemic, that people want to see you, they want to meet you, and a Social Security seminar is a great way to break into the seminar business. But Dave's got the retiree mistakes, as he mentioned. We've got the radio that's very good as well. So a lot of things we can do from a marketing standpoint. Let me just check and see if we have any other questions here, Dave, that we haven't touched on.
Okay. All right.
All of our webinars are available. So the question here is, do you guys send out a copy of the slides from the webinar? So you can listen to all of our webinars on our website. Just go to the website and go to our YouTube channel, and it's just going to pull them all up. And so if you want to relook at objection handling, you'll see that's one of the 2020 sales webinars, pretty easy to get to. So if you have any questions on that, you can call me. See, there's a couple of you that haven't voted at all yet. That's fine. We're going to assume probably at this point that's probably you don't have interest. So if that's not the case and you do, please hit yes on that poll here really quick, because I think we're just about done. I just saw that quick question about, can I get the seminar? Nope. I think we've covered all the questions except for one that somebody set up appointment with you, Dave. So I think we can get that one handled on a one-on-one. It was more of an individual Social Security question. So, which Dave is happy to help with those with y'all as well. Let me finish off today by saying thank you to all of the attendees. I know here it is, the start of a new year, and we're all unemployed, right? We all got to find new clients and new ways to do business. And so whatever we do to help you re-employ and get re-engaged and get started, please join us. There was a note on most of our webinars that we are doing the Ascend meeting, as we've done the last couple of years, which is kind of the sales and marketing kickoff. If you want more information on Ascend meeting, just call your sales director and they'll send you the registration link. Really is for people associated with IAMS. Now, if you're not yet licensed with us, not yet doing business, you're certainly welcome to attend, but it is a little bit of a closed group. So you're not going to see advertisements for that unless you call your sales director, and you can certainly do that. And I think that's all I got. Dave, I want to thank you as well. I know you got
you bet. Yeah, got to get out of here.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everybody, this afternoon. Thanks for your business in 2022, and 2023 is going to be even better if I'm reading the tea leaves right. If I got my crystal ball tuned in, I think it's going to be a fantastic year to be in our business. So let us know what we can do to help you grow what you're doing. We can always be reached at 800-255-5055. When you call, you're going to get an answer right away. It's going to be a live body, so you can get your question answered right away. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. David, thank you for taking some time as well.
You bet.
Really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you, everybody. We appreciate it a lot. Bye now.
Great day.